Today we're going to learn how to improvise just using the root and the 7 in a 1-4-5 blues change. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, like this. And today we're going to be talking about using the flat 7 of each chord in a 12-bar blues. First, we're going to identify what the root note is of a 1, a 4, and a 5 chord change. In other words, a blues progression. So if you don't know what a root note is, it's the note that is the name of the chord. So if we're in the key of G, the root note is G. Today I'm using a C harmonica. Let's just take a look first at how I get these numbers 1, 4, and 5. So I'm basically just changing note names into numbers. So if it's G, G is 1, A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, and D is 5. Why would you do that? Why would you call it a number instead of its actual name? The reason to do that is we're just discussing in general a 1-4-5 chord change and thinking about that improvisationally for any key. It's a little bit more confusing if I actually call it by its real name. It's good to know the names of the notes, but it's also important to be able to discuss how they work. And that's where we get this Nashville numbering system. Also, bands communicate this way on stage very, very frequently. So people will say it's a 1-4-5 chord change with a 1-6-2-5 turnaround, and that's how you figure that out, is you just C, D, E, F, G. So today we're gonna look at just flat 7s. If we look at a 1-4-5 chord change right there, we see that we have 12 bars, and each bar has 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're also called measures, and a measure is probably a better name for it because you're measuring time. In this case, we're in 4 time, 4 beats per bar, 4 beats per measure, however you want to call it, and that's where we get this name 4/4 time. What I want to be able to do is internalize 12-bar structure so that I don't even really have to think about it. I just know where the next bar is. And the best way to do that is to start in the most simple form possible and just play the root on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, draw 2, 3, 4. 2, draw 2, 3, 4. So once I can do that, I can play a 12-bar blues just using the root notes. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 draw, 2 draw, to the 4 below, that's the root of 4, back to 2 draw, up to 4 draw, down to 4 below, back to 2 draw. So there's a 12-bar blues just using the root note, playing the root note on the top of every measure. Boom, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 2, 3, 4. Now, even if this is easy for you, which for some of you watching my channel, I know this is very, very simple, and you might be tempted to turn this off. But let me tell you what, this is the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are great for if you know what you're supposed to do in the most obvious place, you can then start changing it. So one of the first things I can do with a basic root note 12-bar exercise is just start placing that note, that root note on a different beat. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I might do something like this. 1, boom, 3, 4, 1, boom, 3, 4, 1, 2, draw 3, 4, 1, 2. So now I'm putting it on the second beat of the measure instead of the first beat. Let's see what that sounds like. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1. So this gives me a lot of freedom. I can play this root note really anywhere on those 4 beats. If I start off methodically and just playing the root note where it's supposed to be, I automatically start getting ideas of what I would do if I wasn't making myself do that. Okay, which is cool. So I can play like a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just changing where I play the root note, which is a really cool thing to do. Once I have that down, I know where the root note is supposed to go, and then I'm able to manipulate where I put it. I can even leave out bars. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. I can start. It's like I'm painting a picture. I'm painting a head and the feet, and you're filling in the body. All I have to do is put the head really good and put the feet really good, draw those really good, and the viewer is going to fill in the rest of the information with their mind. As long as I have the most important ingredients somewhere in place, everything else becomes more or less self-explanatory. One of the musicians that does this really, really well is Junior Wells. So now all we're going to do is add a 7 to this. Last week, I did the box rhythm, which was identifying the root, the fifth, and the 7. And I talked about improvising on these. Instead of doing more this week, we're actually going to do less and then focus more on changing the rhythm. A lot of times when we limit ourselves melodically, meaning taking away notes, okay, what happens is we automatically have more attention to detail in terms of rhythm. Where and when am I playing these notes? Today, we're going to look at playing the root note and then playing the flat 7. On your screen right now, I have just placed up a flat 7 exercise. So we're going to identify the root and the flat 7 of every chord, which we did last week with the box. But this week we're going to try to only just play those notes in a 12-bar pattern. So it's going to take a little discipline on my part not to put in a 1 draw where it doesn't belong, not to put in a lick, not to exhale into 2 blow, okay, or any of these other notes, all right, to just play what's on the paper and then start to manipulate that rhythmically. In this exercise that you're looking at now, I have the 2 draw double bend, which is the flat 7 of 1. I have that note first, and it's going 2 draw double bend, 2 draw, 2 draw double bend, 2 draw. We're actually not going to play it the way it's written on that piece of paper yet. What we're going to do is reverse it. So I'm going to play 2 draw, then 2 draw double bend. And I'm going to do that 4 times. And then when I go to the 4 chord, instead of starting on the 3 bend, which is the flat 7 of 4, I'm going to start on the 4 blow and then go down to the 7. Now, an interesting thing to remember is that if you're ever looking for a flat 7 on a chord that's not one of these, you can always find the flat 7 of a chord because it's always a whole step below the root. So that'll help you jazz guys that are working on arpeggiating flat 7s on like maybe when the band goes to the 6 or something like that. Let's just take a look at the exercise. So again, I'm going to play it backwards from the way it's written. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's the exercise, root 7. A womp-om, a bom-bom, that was bar 2. A bom-bom, bar 3. A bom-bom, 4. Bom-bom, a bom-bom, back to 1. Bom-bom, a bom-bom, 5. 4. 1. There's a 12-bar blues exercise using the root and the flat 7. So the first thing you can do with this is, well, first practice it the way it's written. Always do it the boring Ned Flanders way first. What that does is, even if you know you can do it, if by doing it anyway, the way it's written, you're starting to ignite a little fire in yourself, where you start thinking, what would I do if I wasn't making myself do this? Or if I didn't have to practice it the right way, what would I do? So the whole time you're playing it, and it only takes 30 seconds to play it through the way it's written, right? The whole time you're doing that, you're automatically starting to kind of plan how you would do it a little differently. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So all I did was the same thing I did earlier, which is I just changed the rhythm. Instead of going the Ned Flanders, instead of doing that, I just play it like 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you feel me? So this is what I'm doing. I'm just changing where I play the same 2 notes. Now, the temptation that I think a lot of you are going to have a struggle with is you're going to want to start putting in stuff you already know instead of those just 2 notes. Don't do that. Don't do something like this. Don't put in the extra stuff. Just do the exercise. Remember, you're only going to do this for like 10 minutes, right? And that's going to have a humongous effect on your playing. So you just practice the stuff the way that I have it written out. And then after that, you kind of reward yourself and then start adding in other stuff. But you got to keep the practice pretty well regimented. So next, what we're going to do is just methodically flip this exercise on its head. So instead of playing root note and 7, or 2 draw and 2 draw double bend, and 4 blow and 3 draw half step bend, what we're going to do is we're going to do it the way it's actually written on the paper. So let's look at the PDF again. Boom. Now what we're going to do is start on the bend note. So starting on the 7th of each chord, respectively, and then coming up a whole step to its root. One of the advantages of this is on 2 chords, we start learning to start with a bend. Instead of bending down to something, I have to start in the bending position. So if you're a beginner harmonica player, one of the most important things is beginning to treat bend notes as if it's just another hole on the harmonica. You just, in music, you're going to need, on this instrument, you're going to need to be able to start on certain notes that are bend notes. So they're not a hole or an inhale blow or a draw blow, and you don't go down to that note. You start right on that note. So here's how it's written. Here it is again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting on the bend, going up to 2 draw, 3 draw bend, up to the root of 4, back, that's the 1, 5, 4, again. Very cool. Starting on the bend note and then going up to the root. And then naturally, I can start messing with the time of that. I do it the way it's written. Ba-dum, ba-dum, 7-1, 7-1, next chord, 7-1, 7-4, right? 7-1. So I do it the way it's written, and then I start messing with the time. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just the root and the flat 7 of each chord. Now, all you guys out there that already know this stuff, all you got to do is just start messing with the rhythm. You can start leaving out bars. Four, leave it out. Right at the end. Very Junior Wells kind of thing to do. Not playing on the downbeat, not playing on boom, 2, 3, 4, boom, 2, 3, 4. Instead, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bah! 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 Bah, 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 boom! Boom, 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 bah! Right? So it's just internalizing that groove, right? And knowing that 12 bar structure so well that you can start, not painting the body. You paint the head, you paint the feet. Those of you guys that know this really well, all you need to do to keep this lesson interesting for you is maybe move it to a different octave, right? You could pick a different harmony if you wanted to, and then do the same thing, but try just moving a different octave. was just observe the same notes in a different octave. And then you can start trying to put in some other licks. So just take any lick like, and I can just put a flat 7 on that and do that on each chord. Now, if that's too hard, you could start with just the root. I hope you're getting the idea. Let me tell you what my brain is doing. Root, improvise here. Root, improvise here. Root, little Walter lick. Root, minor scale. 4, improvise here. 4, arpeggiate 4. Root, improvise here. Root, mixolydian. 5, third position lick. 4, first position lick. Root, improvise here. Root, improvise here. Root, play nothing. Play nothing. Improvise here. Root, George Smith lick. 4, Paul Butterfield lick. 4, leave it out. 1, right? So I'm just filling in. That's in between. So I don't always have to play the root, but I always know where it's supposed to go, right? Like if I was gonna play it, I'm observing where it is, okay? And my decision to leave it out and my ability to leave it out is based on really knowing that 12-bar structure. Okay, I hope you had a wonderful time today. And remember, just stick with the basics. Root, 7, root, 7, root, 7, root, 7. 4, 1, 5, 4. There you go. All right, have fun. Go nuts, kids. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe today. Check me out on Instagram. I put up a lot more like little playing videos there. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to my Patreon. It's helping a lot. A lot of you guys from the last lesson signed up for like $1 a month or something. I'm going to keep the lessons coming every Friday, so help me God. All right, new lesson every Friday. Do the best I can to come up with something each week. Feel free to write me in the comments section about any ideas that you have for videos. If I haven't already done the video or if you think I need to do it better, let me know. Thanks to my sponsors, Blue Moon Harmonicas, Lone Wolf, Harp Gear. We'll see you next time. Check out my website, www.mooncat.org. No tours during COVID, but still got CDs and stuff up there. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.